I'm trapped in a world full of betrayal and danger. I tried to run away from my destiny, but my wolf always led me back to him. Now I have to face my past and protect my unborn child. Chapter 29. As soon as the doctor said I could go home, I begged him to let me go see 𝐸rie and Jake. They were both still locked up since Ryder was still here. Eric was also close by but no longer in the territory. I talked to Shane and he assured me that Ryder would be leaving soon. Over the past 2 days he had become very possessive over me. He blamed it on his wolf trying to go overboard with protecting the pup I was carrying. Whatever the reason was, I completely enjoyed it. Jake. 𝐸rie 𝐸𝐬𝐸 𝐊𝐢𝐳𝐬𝐑𝐞𝐝𝐬. Running to his cell. 𝐸rie 𝐸𝐬𝐸𝐊𝐢𝐳𝐬𝐑𝐞𝐝𝐬. I hated the stupid bars for being in the way of me hugging him. The only thing we could do was hold each other's hands. 𝐸rie, I'm so glad to see you. I reached over and took one of her hands in mine. I was so happy to see them after being by myself for almost 4 days. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Shane warned as he walked away with 2 guards who accompanied us here. He let you out? Jake asked. Is Ryder gone? I could hear the edge in 𝐸rie's voice. I have great news to tell you both. Thugs are still bumpy with Shane, but we're working things out. 𝐸rie 𝐸𝐬𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐀𝐀𝐀𝑀𝑘𝐀𝑀𝑘𝑡𝑀. Jake snorted. He was just about ready to kill you. I talked to him. Jake, we haven't worked things out completely. You honestly think he doesn't have something up his sleeve? Jake cut me off. Jake is right. He let you off that easily after how pissed he was. 𝐸rie added. He won't let anything happen to me and he won't hurt me. Especially now. My smile fell. They were making it hard for me to give them the good news. I wanted this moment to be a happy one. I was going to have a baby with my mate. What could be more better than that? Why now? You can't trust him so easily after Jake. I'm pregnant. I blurted out. What? Bray said, surprised. I dropped both of their hands and played with them nervously. I was now looking down and feeling nervous. They were both quiet for a long moment. Are you sure? Bray asked. I am. I had a bit of an accident and ended up in the infirmary. That's how I found out. I bit down on my lip. How could you be so stupid? Jake said quietly. I looked up at him and saw disappointment flash in his eyes. That broke my heart and made me feel like bawling in tears. This was not going how I planned. Jake, this is the best thing that could have happened. 𝐸rie 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝑀. Just like that. Sure he's trusting you. Jake said sarcastically. Not that I'm not happy for you, but what's going to happen now? Are you seriously expecting him just to forget everything? 𝐸rie said. We're going to work on it. 𝐸rie 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝑢𝑛𝑡. What if the kid comes and he tosses you to those psychos? Jake said. This is bad. 𝐸rie 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝑢𝑛𝑡. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience and enthusiasm. And having a pup in this is going to be a good thing. I thought you guys would be a bit more supportive. I guess I was wrong. Shane will let you both out when Ryder leaves pack territory. I didn't wait for their response. I left to find Shane and he was already making his way towards me. Once reaching me, he wrapped his arm around my waist. I understood Jake's reaction and I thought about it myself. I wanted this to be a good thing, but I also thought of other possibilities. I knew this was hard for Shane and he wouldn't just forget everything that happened. I was scared for what would happen after the baby would come. I didn't know what could happen. What if Shane wanted to let Eric and Ryder deal with me? Right now the pup was stopping him from allowing this to go any further. Will it be that way after? Of course I was thinking about all of these possibilities. I had to face reality. You okay? Shane asked. Yeah. Just thinking. 𝐿𝐷𝐼𝐻𝐿𝐬 𝐷𝐼𝐻𝐿𝐬 I have something to tell you. I don't want you going anywhere while Ryder and his pack are here. It's not safe, so I would like you to stay in the cell just until they leave. Shane said. Do I really have to? Don't you have an office here I can stay in? I really don't want to go back there. I whined. I know you don't like it, but it's just another day or two until Ryder leaves. I need to make sure they're gone so I can take you home. Understand? 𝐿𝐷𝐼𝐻𝐿𝐬 Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, 𝐿𝐷𝐼𝐻𝐿𝐬. I nodded. It's just for a little while, Shane assured me. We walked to the other side of the prison and I was locked in my cell. Shane told me he would be back as soon as he could. Somehow I felt like it would be a long time. Later 𝐊𝐸𝐼𝐻 brought me some things that Shane thought I would need. He also brought me food that mostly consisted of healthy things. I frowned as I looked at the food, wishing it could be a burger. I heard the news, Sam said, sitting on the floor on the other side of the closed cell. It's the best thing that had happened to me. Unconsciously I wrapped my arms around my stomach. In less than a month I would have a small little bump. In less than half a couple of months I'd have my little pup in my arms. I don't doubt that. Then, what is it? What? Sam asked, confused. I don't know. You just seem like you want to say something more. 𝐿𝐷𝐼𝐻𝐿𝐬 Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, 𝐿𝐷𝐼𝐻𝐿𝐬. I don't know. Shane seemed a bit distracted when he informed us of the news. Imperial hasn't left the territory yet, and I'm not sure when that will be. He was talking to Ryder for the longest time. I don't trust the guy. He looked too suspicious to me, and something else happened. Said. What do you mean? The boss about Sebastian fallen ash. There's a lot going on with that pack now at days, and he was asking about the cousin. He's Alpha now and wanted to know how he did it to become an alpha. Why would Justin ask that? Maybe I should have a talk with Beatty about this. Said. I don't want to involve her. Ryder is psychotic, and if he takes anything out on her I would never forgive myself. Justin is protecting her, but I'm not sure what is up with him. I haven't told Shane yet, Sam said quietly as he looked down at the flood. Why not? Sam looked up at me and gave me a look that said, are you seriously asking that? I moved closer to him and sat on the cold floor in front of him. I've been thinking over what you told me the other day. I asked around about Helly and people talked. There was something going on with Imperial and Silverlight. This was something that apparently Shane wasn't aware of. I talked to one of the girls that Ellie used to hang a lot with when we visited the pack. She was a close friend of hers. She was here with the pack. So, what does that mean to you? It means that I think you might not be guilty. I don't trust that guy, and it's clear to not only me but to Shane as well, that the guy has a thing for you. I was glad that Sam was actually trying to help me with this. I knew she would believe me. It wasn't easy to do, but he hasn't lost his trust in me. He doesn't have a thing for me, I said, frowning. He's really interested in you. Because he wants to kill me. Whatever it is, we need to figure out what the deal is between those two packs. Sam was right. There was some feud going on between the packs. Ryder never said anything about having major problems with Silverlight until the day we were told to attack. No one questioned his decisions, but he was hiding something. He had another motive for killing Ellie, but I never even thought to find out what it was. Okay, so what do? We make a plan, Sam said, actually smiling for what seemed like the first time in a while. Chapter 30. I stood in the room looking at myself in the square mirror. I turned side to see if there was any difference in my physical appearance. I looked more tired than usual, and my skin had paled from being locked up. There were dark circles under my eyes from the constant lack of sleep. I worried a lot lately, and I was scared that Shane might not really be okay with this whole thing. My clothes felt big on me now, since I hadn't been eating well either. I was having morning sickness. And the time I spent locked I had been stubborn and refused to eat. I could barely see the small bump on my stomach. It wasn't noticeable to anyone, but it was noticeable to me. I noticed the change going on in my body. Before I had left the prison cells, I was wearing a tank top and shorts. Apparently Shane thought I was showing too much and forced me to wear sweats. I didn't want to change, but he was set on keeping me locked up if I refused. In the end, I had complied and changed into a t-shirt and sweatpants. I looked towards the opening door to see Shane stepping in. He had been gone all day at the PAC building. I didn't know what he was doing and I didn't ask. My wolf missed him and she wanted to curl up in his arms. Shane had a navy blue buttoned-up shirt and dark jeans. In the morning when I had seen him, I nearly fainted. He looked really good and it seemed he had been getting more sleep than I had. Before he looked really tired and worn out. "How are you feeling?" Shane asked. "A little tired," I admitted. "You look tired. Do you want to go to the doctor?" "No, I'm fine. 𝐊𝐢𝐳𝐥𝐼𝐬 𝐑𝐞𝐝𝐬 𝐊𝐢𝐳𝐥𝐼𝐬𝐑𝐞𝐝𝐬. I'm just tired, a little more hungry than usual." Shane smiled and his eyes darted to my stomach. Unconsciously my hands had rested on my belly. It was something I had been doing lately since I found out I was pregnant. "Do you want to go anywhere to eat? Is it safe?" Shane told me that Ryder had already left the territory and we would have guards. He didn't want to risk anyone slipping and causing me harm. He had become a bit paranoid with trying to protect me. "We'll just go to a diner or something. A burger joint?" he asked with a shrug. "I don't know. I haven't been able to hold anything down. Maybe we should just stay here. Sometimes I get dizzy," I said, chewing on my bottom lip. "Are you sure you don't want to see the doctor?" Shane asked, concerned. "I'm fine. I guess I'm just nervous." Again I ran my hands over my stomach. "Can we just have some dinner here? Please. If this continues, then I'm taking you to the doctor. I'm worried that you're not eating enough. Food just smells weird and I really don't like it." I grumbled. "Like right now. I want sushi." "Sushi?" He raised a brow. "Blame it on the baby," I said, crossing my arms. "I'll have someone go out to get some for you." Shane laughed and took my hand. We headed downstairs and waited in the living room while we waited for someone to bring the food I asked for. Sam and Chase had walked in 20 minutes later. They had food in a bag and I could smell the sushi. My stomach grumbled and I bet I was actually drooling. "Where's Alex?" Shane asked. "With his mate. It's her mother's birthday, so they're going to have dinner there or something." Chase explained. "Did you take care of everything I asked?" Shane asked. Shane asked question after question as we set the food on the table. I practically devoured the whole thing once we all sat down. I had been incredibly hungry and I was happy they brought me food that actually smelled appealing. Sometime throughout dinner Shane had snapped at Sam. We had been mind-linking throughout dinner and Shane caught us making eye contact. He was jealous and he didn't like it one bit. After Chase and Sam finished, they were dismissed. I was left to pick up the mess and wash the dishes. Shane offered to do it himself, but I doubted he really wanted to. "What's up with you and Sam?" Shane asked, suspiciously. "I don't know what you're talking about." 𝐊𝐢𝐳𝐥𝐼𝐬 𝐊𝐢𝐳𝐥𝐼𝐬𝐑𝐞𝐝. "Don't do this. I'm not doing anything. There is nothing going on. Stop being paranoid. I'm making preparations for when the baby comes." Hearing him say that surprised me. Not even I had thought about preparing a room or getting baby stuff. I wasn't far along and I was sure it could wait a month before I was due. "Preparations like what?" I asked as I dried the plates so I could put them away. "There's the room, necessities, and other things. I want to make sure everything is in place. Don't you think it's a little too soon for that? Better now than later." I looked up at him and met his brown eyes. Hearing him actually thinking ahead was strange for me. Everything going on with the baby on the way was strange. Shane was acting different and I didn't know how to react to it. I was completely frightened when Shane unintentionally hurt me and I started bleeding. What if I had lost the baby? I thought that I would have cried and most died of sadness. I'm sure Shane would never have been able to forgive himself for it. At the hospital I kept thinking of difference in 𝐊𝐢𝐬𝐷𝐞𝐝. I kept thinking of having everything prepared and then something going horribly wrong. I was scared and I didn't want that. I didn't want to lose something that was now part of me. We need to talk about something very serious. Shane said. Okay. 𝐿𝐴𝐷𝐸𝐿𝐬𝐷𝐞𝐫𝐬 𝐻𝐼𝐴𝐷𝐸𝐷𝐞𝐲. Again surprised by his constant change of subject. What about? Everything. What happened with my sister? What happened between you and Ryder? What we will do after the baby comes? And what you can do to clear your name if you claim to be innocent. I was taken back by that because it was not what I expected. It hurt more than I thought to hear him say he still didn't quite believe me. I figured as much, but hearing him say it actually hurt. Nothing happened between me and Ryder. 𝐿𝐴𝐷𝐸𝐷𝐞𝐫𝐬 𝐻𝐼𝐴𝐷𝐸𝐷𝐞𝐫𝐬. Narrowing my eyes at him. Why does he insist on having you? Shane asked. Something must have happened. Nothing happened and nothing of what you think even went on. I thought I already proved that I hadn't been with anyone. I remembered the day we had mated without it being my choice. I had to prove to him I was never with anyone. I had to sleep with him to show him that because he just couldn't trust me. Something still went on. I'll tell you everything you want to know about what happened with your sister when you're ready to listen and you have an open mind. I'm ready now. Seeming sure of himself. No, you're not. Not if you're making assumptions and won't even believe me when I told you nothing happened. 𝐿𝐴𝐷𝐸𝐷𝐞𝐫𝐬 𝐻𝐼𝐴𝐷𝐸𝐷𝐞𝐲. As far as clearing my name, I think I might know someone who can clear that up, but you seriously need to let 𝐊𝐢𝐳𝐸𝐽𝐻𝐢𝐳. They didn't do anything and I thought you said you were going to let them go. You can't really expect me just to let my guard down. Do you? How do I know they won't do anything? I'm your mate and you should trust me. But I guess we already know how trust goes between us. Right. I snapped. Who is this person you're talking about? How will they be able to help? Shane asked. Ignoring me. Justin, the beta of Imperial, is protecting me and BRE. He knows what happened, but it won't be easy for him to slip away from Ryder. 𝐿𝐴𝐷𝐸𝐷𝐞𝐫𝐬 𝐻𝐼𝐴𝐷𝐸𝐿𝐬𝐷𝐞𝐲. I'll talk to him and not alone, he said firmly. He won't trust you and won't open up if you're there. We could ask BRE if she can help, but that's if you let her out. 𝐿𝐴𝐷𝐸𝐷𝐞𝐫𝐬 𝐻𝐼𝐴𝐷𝐸𝐿𝐬𝐷𝐞𝐝. I told you that BRE is his mate. He won't try anything on me. We'll talk about that later. Right now I want to tell you that I'm not going to let them hurt you. But what you did was bad. Killing a Luna is against pack law, and there will be conveniences. After the baby comes you won't be able to see the baby. Wait. What? I cut him off. What are you talking about? There has to be enough proof to clear your name, and if that doesn't happen I can't allow you to be around our baby. There will be a process you will have to go through with the elders. Even if they do forgive you because you are a Luna yourself. I don't want the baby to be around. It's my baby. Are you seriously going to try to take my baby away? Please don't do that to me. I thought we were trying to work things out. I'm sorry for what happened and I told you I didn't do it. Yes, I said I did it first, but that's before I found out Ryder had done it. I told you the other day he snuck in to see me. I know and I'm trying here. I really am, but Eddie was my baby sister. The only sister I had, and she was taken away from our family. There's nothing I want more than to believe you, but this is too much. You have to understand. I understand. Really I do. But you don't have to take this away from me. If you do I will never forgive you and I'll run away before you take my baby. I don't care if you are my mate. I'm going to be a mother and my baby comes first. Just give me some time. 𝐿𝐴𝐷𝐸𝐷𝐞𝐫𝐬 𝐻𝐼𝐴𝐷𝐸𝐷𝐞𝐲. Shane pleaded. I'm trying to keep an open mind. I'll try and I won't take the baby away. It's just I know. 𝐿𝐴𝐷𝐸𝐷𝐞𝐫𝐬 𝐻𝐼𝐴𝐷𝐸𝐷𝐞𝐝. I understand. I'm asking you for time too. I promise you that if you try taking my baby, you won't see us both ever again. Take your time and give me my time as well. I'm trying. I was now getting a headache and I felt tired. I couldn't believe he had just threatened me to take my baby away. If you ask me, you're not trying hard enough. 𝐿𝐷𝐼𝐻𝐸𝐿𝐷𝐼𝐻𝐸𝐿𝐷𝐼𝐻𝐸𝐸𝐷𝐻𝐸𝐸𝐷𝐻𝐸𝐸𝐷𝐼𝐻𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸 I'm sorry. 𝐿𝐤𝐳𝐸𝐿𝐤𝐸𝐬 𝐻𝐻𝐲𝐻𝐬 I shouldn't have said that. I'm still angry and confused. Forgive me. I'm going to sleep. I'm exhausted, and I really don't want to see you right now. I walked out of the kitchen and walked slowly up the stairs. I went to our room and closed the door behind me. I quickly changed into one of Shane's shirts to sleep in. I blindly crawled into the bed and pulled the covers tightly around me. I was just falling asleep when the door to the bedroom opened. I felt a dip next to me and then I was caged in Shane's arms. They were tightly wrapped around my waist and he pulled me to him. I'm sorry. 𝐿𝐤𝐳𝐸𝐿𝐤𝐻𝐻𝐬 𝐿𝐤𝐳𝐸𝐬𝐭 I'll try harder. I don't want to lose you or our baby. I love you. I turned around so that I was now facing him. It was dark in the room and it was a bit difficult to see his face. My eyes had adjusted to the dark, but it was still hard to see him when he tried to nuzzle his face in my neck. I love you too. 𝐿𝐤𝐳𝐸𝐿𝐤𝐻𝐻𝐬 �Heartwarming I sighed when Shane's breathing started to even out. His warm breath tickled my neck, but it felt good having him close. Shane promised he would try harder for me. My promise to him: if he ever tried to take my baby away, I will disappear off of the face of the earth and he will never see either of us. I'm not going to let anyone, not even my mate, take my new reason for happiness away from me. I won't let him hurt me like that, especially not to get back at me. That was a promise I intended to keep. Chapter 31. Whoever said pregnancy was beautiful was a liar. I loved that I had a pup growing inside of me, but I wasn't sure if that part was good enough to overpower the bad. Shane had to deal with my constant mood swings. It was a roller coaster with us all week. It didn't help that Shane wouldn't keep his hands off of me. Just wear a dress, Shane said, entering the room. None of the dresses fit me. I grunted. It's too tight. We're going to see my parents. It will only be for a short time. We were going to have dinner with Shane's parents tonight. They were informed about everything that was happening. Shane left out a few details about his sister's death. He only mentioned that I had a connection to the incident. I can't have dinner with them and pretend things are fine. 𝐿𝐤𝐳𝐸𝐿𝐤𝐻𝐻𝐬 𝐻𝐤𝐳𝐸𝐬𝐿𝐤𝐻𝐻𝐬 It doesn't feel right. I didn't want to go anywhere and especially to see Shane's parents. I felt like I was lying to them. Shane had given them the news about my pregnancy and the whole pack was happy and expecting the new addition to our family. My mother wants to see you, Shane insisted. I told you I can't. After everything that has happened, I just can't. Could we just eat where we agreed to meet Justin? It had taken some convincing, but Shane finally agreed to let me talk to Justin. Bray had asked him to meet us and he more than happily agreed. We were supposed to go after visiting Shane's parents. Sam and I were finally able to form a plan. Shane didn't want Imperial here or Silver Light. He didn't want either to be a threat to me or the baby, so he was going to go to them. Sam insisted on going with them and finally Shane had agreed. Sam was going to talk to Ellie's friend to see what he could find out. You're sure in a rush to see him, Shane said, narrowing his eyes at me. 𝐖𝐨𝐥𝐼𝐳 mate, keep that in mind. When I was part of Imperial Pack, he was always nice to me. He became a beta at a young age, but he was good at what he did. I know that he can help me. What if he tries something? Shane asked. This could be a trap. Justin isn't like that, I said, frowning. He's a good guy. Right. Because he's siding with Ryder, who wants to take you away from me. 𝐿𝐤𝐳𝐸𝐿𝐤𝐻𝐻𝐬 𝐻𝐤𝐳𝐸𝐬𝐿𝐤𝐻𝐻𝐬 Shane's paranoia about me being taken had gotten worse. Because of the baby, Shay didn't even let anyone around me. Jake, Sam, and a few others were the only ones allowed to be around me. No one is going to take me from you. 𝐿𝐤𝐷𝐞𝐝𝐬𝐵 𝐊𝐢𝐳𝐷𝐞𝐝𝐬𝐵. Can we just please skip with your parents? I already said no. Shane was leaving no room for argument. I promise we'll leave soon. I didn't argue further with Shane. I was annoyed and I didn't want to have another one of my mood swings. We usually always ended up arguing about things. One thing that we argued about was Ellie. That was something Shane constantly threw at my face. I couldn't count how many times I cried and begged for him to forgive me. If I would have known, I wouldn't have been stuck in this position. I would have done things differently. I would give up the world just to change that small part of the past. When we got to Shane's parents' house, I was ready to bolt out. I didn't want to be here. I couldn't face both Rose and Vin. I felt nervous and it was making my tummy turn. Stop fidgeting, Shane said. You'll be fine. I sighed and got out of the car. I had worn a dress so I didn't have to wear jeans. It was tight against my chest and stomach. The bump was then making me look full. I didn't mind it, but I definitely needed to buy new clothes. It was as if I were in a whole different world while having dinner with Shane's parents. They talked and laughed while I just kept a smile on my face. Rose asked how I was doing with the baby. I gave her some details and she continued to gush. I wish my Elle would have had pups. Rose sighed. I know, dear, Garrett said, patting her hand. Guilt consumed me. Even if it wasn't my fault, I knew it was wrong. I should have done something to stop Ryder. I shouldn't have stood by or taken part in any of his crap. I knew why he chose me to do it. I was a kid and I wanted to feel important. I was important to the pack even with my young age. Word was that he was looking for someone to replace the Luna. I never asked what the history was between Ryder and his mate Lizzie. He kept it very private and the only one who knew were his two important men. I bet my mother was pushing for me to take that position. It's true Ryder had taken an interest in me, but it wasn't at all what she thought. He gave me more advantages than other girls my age. But I knew it was just because he wanted to use me to his benefit. And in the end he did just that. I was stupid as a teenager and didn't have a backbone. I let people push me around and this is where it has gotten me. Years of misery because of him. I hated myself and would beat myself up for what I thought I had done. He had it planned all along. You didn't even touch your food, Shane said. As soon as we were in the car. It was nearing 9 and I knew Justin would be waiting for us as soon as we showed to the coffee shop. I didn't notice. I'll grab something at the cafe. I'm not that hungry, I said absently. 𝐿𝐤𝐷𝐞𝐝𝐬𝐵 𝐿𝐤𝐷𝐞𝐝𝐬𝐵. What are you thinking about? Right now, I'm thinking how much things will change once you hear what Justin has to say. Maybe now you'll really believe me. I already told you I would try and that's exactly what I'm doing. I agreed on going to this stupid thing. Didn't I? I can see it in your eyes. You're refusing to believe me. I saw the way you looked at me when your mom mentioned Ellie. Let's not go there. I'm having a stressful day as it is. I'm preparing to go to Imperial to meet Ryder. If what you say is true, he needs to back off and I'll be dealing with him by taking him to the elders. He has to pay for what he did. What are the elders supposed to do? He's an alpha too. He can be stripped from his title. You will have to repay for the damage he has done. We made it to the cafe in 30 minutes. People around were out and about minding their own business. Walking into a Le Cafe, I immediately caught Justin's scent. I spotted him at a small booth in the far left corner. Shane's arm was wrapped possessive lie around my waist. He was tense and I knew he didn't want to be here. Relax, I said, turning to him. Keep an open mind and listen. I stood up on my toes and for the first time in a while I leaned in to kiss him. It was a small kiss, but it left me wanting more and I knew he felt the same. We hadn't had much of anything romantic going on lately. Only when it came to sex would he try to approach me that way, but it usually resulted in him getting a taste of my anger. We walked to the booth and slid in. Shane sat next to me, caging me in the booth. Caleb gave me a warm smile, which I returned. Shane gave out a low growl and had a deep frown on his face. I honestly didn't think you would let Sage come, Justin said to Shane. And then turned to me. How are you, by the way? Only because I know 𝐿𝐲 is your mate. Shay, be warned. I won't cut off your tongue and shove it down your throat. Like a smile you giving my mate. To my agent extraordinaire, 𝐊𝐲𝐬𝐬 𝐊𝐲𝐬𝐬𝐿𝐲𝐬𝐬𝐿𝐲𝐬𝐬𝐿𝐲𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 I hope you don't have her locked up. She's fine. I told Justin. She misses you. Pain flashed across Justin's face. It was hard for mates to be apart and I knew he must be missing her so much. I felt bad for him. And I miss her. Just unfinally said. 𝐿𝐤𝐷𝐞𝐝 Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing enthusiasm. Let's get to the point. Shane snappily said. Congrats on the baby. How did you know? I asked surprised. Word travels around fast. I would be on guard if I were you. Don't tell me what to do. Shane snapped. I placed my hand on top of Shane's to calm him down. It seemed to work because he let out a deep breath and scooted closer to me. I'm just saying. Justin lifted his hands up as to show he wasn't trying to cause any harm. Stop it. I rolled my eyes but still smiled. I knew he was trying to get on Shane's nerves. Bray had told me how Shane should be scolded and put in his place several times. I had no doubt in my mind he was trying to get under Shane's skin as a part of a request from 𝐵𝐴𝐸. She was probably the one who told him I was pregnant. 𝐿𝐤𝐷𝐞𝐝 Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing enthusiasm. So what is it you want to talk about? You know I didn't tell 𝐴𝐸. 𝐿𝐤𝐷𝐞𝐝 Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing enthusiasm. Just unsighed and sat back as he sipped on his coffee. I wasn't sure if he was willing to turn his back on Ryder so easily. He was loyal to him, and even if he willingly agreed to come and hear it, didn't mean he would actually talk. What is it you're asking exactly? Justin asked. Did Ryder kill my sister or not? I don't have time for your bullshit, yes. Justin said, cutting off Shane mid-sentence. Ryder killed the Luna of Silver Light. Chapter Fatito. A low rumble came from Shane and his hands were balled in fists. I placed my hand on his shoulder and he actually growled out at me. I shrunk back into my seat and felt hurt he was directing his anger on me. I understood his reaction, but that didn't stop it from hurting. Start talking. 𝐿𝐤𝐷𝐞𝐝 Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing enthusiasm. Before I do, I want to know something first. Justin said. What do you want to know? Screw this shit, Shane said through gritted teeth. Tell me what happened that day. Not until you help me with something first. Justin said. I guess I spoke too soon, saying he wouldn't ask for anything in return. I should have expected as much, but I didn't think he would actually go there. What is it then? I want to know what's the story between Alpha Sebastian and Alpha Nathan. Why would you want to know about them? Shane asked. Guarded. I knew a couple of things about packs, but not much. Rogues never got involved in pack business. All I knew was Shane was a close friend of Sebastian from Nightfall. Shane had talked to Sebastian a couple of times when I first arrived at Nightshade. He complained to him about me trying to run away. Tell me how Nathan became Alpha. Justin said. Justin, why do you want to know that? I asked, feeling confused. Sam had said something about this before. Justin had been Alpha. Nathan managed to become the Alpha of grey skin. No one really seemed to talk about it, though they all knew. It's all I'm asking for in return. I'll spill anything you want to know. Heck, I might even be able to help you better than even your mate can. Justin was looking at me when he spoke. She doesn't need your help. Shane growled. Were you sure aren't doing anything to get her out of this shitty mess? Justin shot at Shane. That's all I'm asking. Please. Just answer the question and I'll tell you anything you want to know. First tell me why. Shane said. I was getting dizzy, darting my eyes between the two. Shane wasn't giving in too easily. It annoyed me that he didn't just tell him. Were we here to get the dish from Justin? Now that 𝐿𝐤 has it at the palm of his hand, he wants to play games. 𝐊𝐤 is a crazy bastard that doesn't deserve to be alpha. I want to take him down. And why is that? He hurt a lot of people. The pack lives in fear of him. He doesn't deserve to be the alpha. Justin explained. They all live in fear, and that's why they follow him. Some are even more blind than others and are loyal. I didn't want to meet his eyes. I was one of those blind people that had become loyal to him. 𝐊𝐤 was always so hard on everyone. At first I thought it was just because he wanted to push us at our best. But now I realize that it was his sick enjoyment to see us shudder. Did you know your mom threw all of your stuff out and practically cut you out? When 𝐊𝐤 started hunting you down, he asked your mother about you, and at first it was like she didn't know who you were. She kept saying she didn't know who we were talking about. Your mother and father worshipped 𝐊𝐤, and they didn't want to talk about the person who turned their gun imperial. I whimpered at hearing his words. My mom basically gave me up for being dead. To her, I was never born. She cut me out of her life as if I never existed. My mother and father hate me. Me, their daughter who tried to do everything for them. It was all because of 𝐊𝐤. He convinced everyone you had betrayed us. When I found BRE, she heard about you here. No one was allowed to talk about you, but they did occasionally. She had asked me about you but never told me why. She let something slip about you, and he practically wanted to kill her. She told me about that. I nodded. What does this have to do with Nate and Sebastian? 𝐿𝐤 asked, a bit annoyed. I don't like people wanting to hurt my mate. Justin growled. He's done enough. Now tell me. Nathan challenged the alpha for the title and obviously he won. If he would have just died, then the title would have fallen down to his son, but the alpha didn't have one, so Nathan got the title. You want to challenge 𝐊𝐤 for his title. It wasn't unheard of a wolf challenging an alpha. It was uncommon, but it happened once in a blue moon. I didn't know much of the entire process. I learned there were rules and regulations, but I didn't know every detail. 𝐿𝐤 Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I can't sit by and let him do what he wants. It was enough with what happened with the Luna of Silver Light. What happened that day with my sister? 𝐿𝐤 asked. Justin, why did 𝐊𝐤 ask me to kill her? Why me? 𝐊𝐤 had a thing for the Luna. She resembled Lizzie. Our Luna. She was very young when she passed away. It was hard for 𝐊𝐤. She was carrying when she was killed. And that was something that 𝐊𝐤 couldn't handle. He tried to act like it didn't affect him, but those of us who were close to him could see it. He wanted Ellie because she looked like the Luna. I guess in a way that made sense. Justin nodded. We were trying to settle a feud we had with Silverlight. They were growing bigger in numbers and wanted to push their territory further towards Imperial. They were fighting over the land. Seriously. 𝐿𝐤 Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Incredulously, we went to Silver Light to sign a treaty. In the time that we were there, I could see that 𝐊𝐤 wanted the Luna. Something must have happened because we left Silver Light in a hurry and without completing the treaty. Something bad must have happened for 𝐊𝐤 to want Ellie dead. I spoke more to myself than to Justin. I think he tried to convince Ellie to become the Lure of Imperial. My sister would never go with him. 𝐿𝐤 growled. Of course she wouldn't. That would have been 𝐊𝐤's motive to kill her. What actually happened that day? 𝐿𝐤 narrowed his eyes at Justin. I could feel how worked up he was getting. 𝐊𝐤 was looking for any opportunity to plan an attack. Alpha Eric had been pushing his boundaries and some of his men were snooping around our territory. 𝐊𝐤 took that opportunity to attack. Justin, please tell me why me? Why did he make me do it? I didn't want to and he forced me to. I felt nerves settle in my stomach and I felt sick. I was going to vomit whatever I ate earlier. I hated 𝐊𝐤 with a burning passion. He ruined my life and tore me emotionally without even knowing it. You were so naive. I'm sorry. 𝐊𝐤, that he built you and molded you into the pack the way he wanted to. He wanted you to trust him like your parents blindly trusted him. You're good in your skills and he needed someone innocent to do his dirty work. He took you for a weak little girl. I was shaking now, and this time it was out of hurt and anger. He robbed me of so much and it was all because he was a sick man. He destroyed me. He made me leave the only place I had considered my home. I hated him and I wish I could kill him with my bare hands. What did he tell Sage to do? Shane asked, keeping his hard look on Justin. We were getting everything ready. I didn't agree with what he was doing, but Ryder didn't give two shits about it. He ordered Sage to kill the loon, but only 3 of us knew she was the Luna. Others thought she was a traitor who used to belong to the pack. I was supposed to keep an eye on Sage to make sure she completed the job. If she could not, then I would have to do it myself. You were there? I asked, and he nodded. You were there and you didn't do anything to stop it. You let him kill my sister. Shane was close to shifting. I could feel his anger radiating from him. Both of you know better than anyone that we can't against an alpha's order. I didn't want to get my hands dirty, so I told him that you were fighting her off. You didn't even make a move to go in for the kill. Sage didn't kill her. Shane said. Of course not. Your mate would never kill someone. Hurt, yes, but never kill. I told Ryder and he showed up. I was busy with fighting off a couple of wolves, but I saw when Alpha Eric was lying on the ground unconscious. Sage had her back to them, but I could see A was moving her head. That's when I saw Ida quickly snap her neck. You didn't do it. Shane breathed out a sigh of relief as he looked at me. I reached for Shane's hand and held it in mine. He knew everything now. I told you I didn't do it. I wish you could have just believed me. You should have trusted me, but you didn't. Just like you didn't trust me when I told you nothing ever happened with Jake and the other guy. 𝐿𝐸𝐻𝐸 𝐿𝐸𝐻𝐸 𝐿𝐸𝐻𝐸. Quietly, I hated throwing at his face, but it was something that I thought often about. I didn't regret that night. I wish things would have been different. I wish a lot of things were different. I'm really sorry. 𝐿𝐸𝐻𝐸 𝐿𝐸𝐻𝐸. Justin said, I'm letting you both know that I'm going to kill Ryder. I'm going to kill him and take the title from him. He doesn't deserve it. I want to do it. 𝐿𝐸𝐻𝐸 𝐿𝐸𝐻𝐸. I appreciate it, but I don't need your help, no. I said, shaking my head. I want to be the one that kills him. Absolutely not. Shane said at the same time Justin was telling me no. Why not? He took everything from me, so I think it's only fair I do the same. 𝐿𝐸𝐻𝐸 𝐿𝐸𝐻𝐸. I'm not letting you get your hands dirty because of him. Shane was shaking his head disapprovingly. If you don't let me kill him, then I at least want to be there to see him die. Not in your condition, Justin said before Shane could protest. It wasn't fair. I wanted to be the one to rip the life out of him. An eye for an eye. I had the right to kill him after all he had done to me. Ryder knows you're expecting, and let me tell you, the only reason he'll back off is to get that pup. Justin told me. He's planning to back off when you visit Imperial. Then you'll have to kill him before. Shane said, I'm not risking anything happen to my family. Do it after. We'll make a plan or something, but I have to be there when you kill him. I looked at both of them to show them how serious I was. 𝐿𝐸𝐻𝐸 𝐿𝐸𝐻𝐸. Shane started to say, No, Shane. He's done enough and I deserve at least this much. Shane looked me in the eyes. His brown eyes looked tired as they bored into mine. I gave his hand a squeeze and tried to smile. Please. I pleaded. Please let me have this. 𝐿𝐸𝐻𝐸 𝐿𝐸𝐻𝐸. We'll do it your way, Shane said with a sigh. Do you think you could do it after Sage has the baby? I've already got a plan. Justin grinned with excitement. Good. Then we wait a couple weeks after the baby is born, Shane said. I smiled at him, but my head was already trying to work out a plan. I wanted to be the one to kill him. My wolf wanted to spill his blood. No one was going to take that opportunity away from me. Ryder was going to pay for everything he had done to me. Chapter 33 months later. I look like a balloon. I said, frowning at the mirror. In 3 months my stomach had stretched out to the size of a watermelon. The dress I wore was loose around me, but it didn't stop me from feeling like huge. It was even becoming hard for me to walk without wobbling. Someone had the brilliant idea to throw me a celebration for the new coming pup. By brilliant I mean stupid. I didn't want to be in a room of people trying to touch my baby bump. It unsettled my wolf. But you're a beautiful balloon, 𝐊𝐢 said, smiling. I rolled my eyes and stepped away from the mirror. I felt tired and already wanted to take a nap. This morning I hadn't woken up to cheerful. Shane had woken me up early and told me he would be out welcoming fallen ash. The alpha was a close friend of Shane's. Apparently, Eric was also invited, but he declined the invitation. Everything had gone smoothly in the past month. Ryder kept his distance and didn't try to pose any threat. I felt like he was waiting for the perfect moment. Shane hadn't said much about Eric. His relationship with Shane wasn't the best right now. This will be fun. Bray tried to be encouraging. By fun do you mean torture? Before she could answer, Jake chose that moment to walk in. He looked formal yet casual. I smiled and stepped into his open arms. How are you feeling? Jake asked. Grumpy. Bray answered for me. You'll be fine, Jake assured me. I don't want to go out there. I whined. You have to. Shane already arrived and there are people downstairs waiting for you, Jake said. I groaned but knew he was right. I had to remind myself that this was for the pack. They were happy for me and Shane. This was a time to celebrate. All 3 of us walked downstairs to the crowd of people inside of the house. I spotted Shane by the door and made my way to him. He placed a loving kiss in my cheek when I reached him. Love. This is Sebastian. He's the alpha of fallen ash and this is mate Lorraine. I looked at Sebastian and reached out to take his hand. Like Shane, Sebastian was tall and radiated power. My attention moved to the Luna, who was looking at me with curiosity. She looked younger than I had expected. Stretched my hand for her to shake. She hesitated a bit, placed a hand in mine. It's nice to meet you both. You people as well, I said, looking over Sebastian's shoulder. This is Peter and Micah, Sebastian introduced. 2 of my trusted men. I assume everyone else is out and about enjoying themselves. Everyone should. 𝐿𝐢𝐳𝐸𝐬𝐷𝐞𝐝 𝐻𝐼𝐳𝐸𝐬𝐙𝐑𝐞𝐝 Enjoy themselves. I mean, congratulations. The Luna said. Thank you. 𝐿𝐢𝐳𝐸𝐬𝐷𝐞𝐝 𝐻𝐼𝐳𝐸𝐬𝐙𝐑𝐞𝐝 Will you keep the Luna some company while I discuss a couple of things with Sebastian? Shane asked. Now, I didn't hide my disapproval from him. Of course he would take now to ditch me and do God knows what. I would lose my patience if more than one person tried to touch my stomach. I never understood why people found the need to do that. It will only take a few minutes, he said, kissing the top of my head. Sure. Go ahead. I grumbled. Sebastian walked behind Shane toward Shane's office. I frowned as I watched them disappear into the crowd. He was going to get an earful from me later today for leaving me. So, I'm going to go find the food. BRE said. I'll be back. I have to get your present. Jake said, kissing my cheek. Sure. All of you leave me. 𝐸𝐳𝐸𝐬𝐷𝐞𝐝 𝐻𝐼𝐳𝐸𝐬𝐙𝐑𝐞𝐝 Bitterly, I realized that the Luna was still standing in front of me. The guy named Peter was next to her, looking around the room. The Luna looked at me as if trying to figure something out. Do you guys want anything to eat or drink? I have to pee, Peter blurted. Lorraine scolded him. There's a bathroom at the end of the hall, I said, pointing in the direction while trying not to laugh. I can't leave Laurie's side, he said, shaking his head. I'll be fine, Lorraine said, rolling her eyes. The Luna will keep me company. He looked reluctant to go, but nature's call was stronger than himself. I'll be quick, he said, darting in the direction I had pointed. I was now left alone with Lorraine, who seemed slightly uncomfortable. I couldn't blame her. I felt the same way, being surrounded by so many people. People would stop at my side to gush about the big baby bump I had, and it gave me anxiety. After a while Lorraine and I headed into the kitchen to get away from all of the loud noise. She seemed to be more relaxed now that we were alone. There were snacks and refreshments on the island. My stomach growled the moment I spotted the food. "Take anything you want," I offered before I started to eat anything. "Thank you." She smiled. I grabbed a finger sandwich and started eating. Since I've been pregnant, I've been eating more than usual. Wolves naturally take in more food because arbies burn the calories at a high rate. I walked to the refrigerator and grabbed 2 bottles of water. My eyes widened when I saw the pudding and jello snacks. My cravings were so out of control. "What one?" I asked Lorraine before I got any ideas. "Thank you," she said, smiling. We both sat down at the island and it was quiet for a moment. I could tell there was something bothering her. I wanted to aid, but I also didn't want to pry in her business. "Can I ask you a question?" she finally said. She looked nervous and a bit shy. Her short hair was in small curls, making it stick out around her face. I had to admit that the Luna was very pretty. "Sure. 𝐿𝐷𝐸𝐻𝐸 𝐊𝐢𝐳𝐷𝐸𝐻𝐸 𝐻𝐷𝐸𝐻𝐸. I don't mean to be nosy, but Sebastian said you were the Luna that tried to run away." Lorraine said with a blush coating her cheeks. "The Luna that ran away." I thought over her words and smiled. I guess that was true. When I first got here, I tried running away so many times. I never got away with it, though, and I think deep down I never wanted to. "Yeah, I guess I did." "Why?" she asked. "Why did I try to run away?" Lorraine nodded and waited for me to continue. I wondered why she wanted to know that. "Well, I had a lot of things going on. I was kicked out of my old pack and I had gone rogue. When I found that Shane was my mate, I was scared. I've done some pretty bad things I'm not so proud of." I explained. "You were scared he wouldn't want you?" "No, I was scared he would get hurt because of me. I've done that. Hurt people. I guess in a way you're right. I didn't want him to abandon me after he found out what I did." Sebastian told me a bit about what happened. I wasn't surprised about that. Shane had been telling me for a while now that Sebastian would be coming. Every time he talked about him, it was like he was talking about his brother. Shane told me he informed Sebastian about what happened. Shane thought it would be good to have Sebastian on our side in case Ryder brought a fight down on us. Despite what Sebastian's pack has gone through lately with the Luna, they were still a strong pack. Sebastian was a good leader. A bit of an idiot if you ask me, but still a good alpha. I was well aware of the problems happening in that pack. "Did you ever just think about leaving for good?" she continued. "Yes. I thought about it the several times I tried to escape. I thought that maybe by leaving I would have one less problem, but I was wrong. All I was doing was running away from my problems like I had been for years. I wanted to turn my back on the bond I'd have with Sebastian," Lorraine said, quietly looking down at her hands. "I ran away after the war we had. I looked at her and she looked like a fragile girl. She looked 2 or 3 years younger than me. I could imagine how hard the title of a Luna might seem to her. If it was hard for me, it must also be hard for her. I didn't come back for a while. I didn't want to. I would have done the same," I admitted. 𝐶𝐴𝐿𝐷𝐸𝐻𝐸 𝐊𝐢𝐳𝐷𝐸𝐻𝐸. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience and enthusiasm. She asked, surprised. "Sure. You seem really young and I know the pressures of being a Luna. Shane told me a couple of things that have happened with Fallen Ash. Seems like the golfers like to gossip." Lorraine said, a bit awry. "More than us girls." I agreed. "I just don't know what to do." "About what?" "It's just that I do love Sebastian, but he has hurt me so much. He's your mate. I'm sure he loves you just as much as you love him, maybe even more. Shane hurt me too at one point. And you forgave him." "Yes, but why?" she asked, confused. "It was my fault. I know most of what happened was because of me. I admit my mistakes, and he's my mate. No matter how much he has hurt me, I was destined to be with him from the beginning." I explained. "Mates are there for each other. We're part human and you should remember that. We all make mistakes. I wasn't ready to be Luna. I was scared and I didn't want to be. I didn't want to screw up. Now I want to be the best I can be. People need me. Don't you get tired of it sometimes? I do, but that's my job. We all have a role in the pack. My role is important to the pack and it makes us all stronger. I know you're going through some tough times. You're young, but I believe that you can do it. 𝐿𝐤𝐷𝐞𝐝𝐬𝐻, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. You really think so? Yes, you seem strong. You were destined to be with Sebastian. He needs you and you may not realize it, but you need him too. We can't be without our mates. This will be hard, but it'll get easy. We each have battles to fight. We might fall, but you have to get back up and try. I think I get what you're trying to say, Lorraine said, looking a bit relieved. If you ever need someone to talk to, I'm always available. 𝐿𝐤𝐷𝐞𝐝𝐬𝐻, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Thank you. This really means a lot, Lorraine said, smiling. We hung out in the kitchen while I finished eating. Peter had found us in the kitchen and joined our small talk. After a while we decided to join everyone back out. I kept coming in and out of the house trying to greet people. Jake had taken my present upstairs to my room. He was sticking next to 𝐊𝐤𝐳 just so he wouldn't have to mingle with people. I tried to avoid Shane's parents, but they found me. They both smothered me and touched my belly. I tried to keep calm, but it was becoming difficult. The rain was still at my side since Sebastian and Shane were still in his office. People were still coming in the house. It surprised me when someone actually rang the doorbell. 𝐿𝐤𝐳 walked over to the door when no one seems to care about opening the door. I opened the door and stood frozen. I looked at the last person I thought of see here at this gathering. 𝐿𝐤𝐳𝐸𝐻, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. WHA, what are you doing here? Chapter 34. I looked at Eric and a group of men who stood behind him. They looked casual and somewhat dressed for an occasion like this. Somehow that made me really nervous. I mind-linked with Shane to tell him that Eric was here in front of me. There were a lot of wolves from the pack around, but that didn't do much to reassure me. Only few knew about the problem we were having. I was invited, Eric said, referring to my previous question. Or was I not? 𝐿𝐤𝐳𝐸𝐻, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I said, clearing my throat. I opened the door and stepped aside. Eric had a smile on his lips which wasn't settling well with me. He looked like he knew a secret that I might want to know. Eric and some of his men stepped inside the house and took in the scene. Lorraine looked at Eric and moved closer to me. She stood a bit behind me as if hiding from Eric. People were talking amongst each other and were enjoying themselves. It was noisy inside due to everyone talking. I quickly walked over to Shane when I spotted him making his way over to me. Sebastian casually walked to Lorraine and she wrapped her arms around his waist. 𝐿𝐤𝐳𝐸𝐻, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. You came, Shane said, looking pleased for some reason. I don't want him here. I told Shane through our mind link. He isn't going to hurt you. I looked up at Shane and clung to his arm just like Lorraine was doing with Sebastian. I didn't want Eric here, but I also wasn't going to kick him out. Shane didn't seem worried about having him here. People were looking at us, but they didn't seem to be bothered by the fact Eric was here. Well, I was invited. You know, I consider you family and I want us all to settle things out, Shane said. But that is something we will talk about later. 𝐿𝐤𝐳𝐸𝐻, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. 𝐿𝐤𝐳𝐸𝐻, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Congratulations on your pup. When will we be expecting the little rascal? We're less than a month now. Sages for months along now, and the pack doctor said it would be in 3 weeks, maybe 4. I didn't feel comfortable with Eric asking so many questions about my baby. Shane didn't seem to think anything wrong about it, but I could feel how tense he had become. I placed my hand on his chest and he relaxed under my touch. I'm going to go find Jake and make sure he doesn't get his hands on all of the food, I said to Shane, trying to keep a light tone. That rogue friend of yours. Eric asked. My brother. I corrected. Jake is my brother. But he's not. Right. Eric pushed. Eric wanted me to snap at him. I could see that now that it was the plan he had in his head. For whatever reason, Eric wanted me to lose it. I wasn't going to give him that satisfaction. No, he's not. 𝐿𝐼𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐬𝐷𝐞𝐝 𝐻𝐿𝐼𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐬𝐿𝐷𝐞𝐝. How did you meet him? 𝐿𝐼𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐬𝐷𝐞𝐝 𝐻𝐿𝐼𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐬𝐷𝐞𝐝. Shane warned. I looked at Lorraine and she was looking at me curiously. I wasn't sure how much Shane had shared with Sebastian and how much Sebastian had shared with Lorraine. She knew things that were going on in the pack just like I knew a couple of things about Fallen Ash. It was years ago. I answered in a quiet voice. I wasn't going to jump into a story if that's what he was waiting for. I wasn't going to tell him how I met Jake. That would require me telling him how I had bumped into him. Ryder and Eric had people after me, and it was because of them that I've gotten myself killed. I would love to hear this story. Eric said. 𝐿𝐼𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐬𝐷𝐞𝐝 Heartfelt thanks for your unfading 𝐊𝐢𝐳𝐧 enthusiasm. I didn't ask you to come so you could upset my mate, Shane said, frowning. After everything she has done, it amazes me how you're still siding with her. Eric's eyes were cold. She is my mate and the mother of my child. Shane growled, pulling me closer to his side. A child who is yet to be born. Eric added. I invited you so we could make peace, not so you could make my mate uncomfortable. Shane said. I'll behave. Eric smiled. I didn't want him here. The way he was talking so calmly made me feel extremely on edge. Out of nowhere, Sam came to stand by my side. His eyes narrowed on Eric, but Eric didn't seem to care. I hadn't gotten a chance to talk to Sam about what he was able to dig up. Sam had accompanied Shane to both Imperial and Silver Light. He told me he found out something about a feud going on. Sam promised he would give me more details. Shane, your parents are outside. 𝐿𝐼𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐬𝐷𝐞𝐝 Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Trying to find an exit to this situation. Alpha Eric, why don't you go say hi? 𝐿𝐼𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐬𝐷𝐞𝐝 Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Eric smiled and walked past me. I sighed in relief when I saw him disappear to the kitchen. Shane looked down at me and gave me an apologetic look. I honestly, though he wouldn't show. Is everything okay? Sebastian asked. Yes, enjoy the party. Shane said. I have to speak with Eric for a few minutes. Stay with Sage and don't let her out of your sight. Yes, Alpha. Shane kissed the top of my head and went after Eric. Whatever they were going to talk about, I only hoped that he could work things out with Eric. I didn't want him looking at me like I had actually committed murder. Sage, do you want to lay down for a while? I bet you're tired from being out and about all day. I looked at Sam and gave him a confused look. Sam avoided eye contact with me, and I felt him trying to get into my mind. Just go with it. Just for a while. My back is killing me. 𝐿𝐼𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐬𝐷𝐞𝐝 Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Alpha Sebastian, Lorraine, if you will both excuse me, I'm going to rest for a little bit. Sebastian nodded at me, and I headed up to my room with Sam following behind me. I knew we had to be quick about our talk. If Shane found us both in here, he would be furious. I locked the door behind me and went to the radio by my nightstand to turn it on. There was a lot of noise downstairs, but I didn't need anyone hearing in our conversation. So, what did you find out? Why is Eric here? I thought he told Shane he wasn't coming. I don't know what he's doing here. I was present when he told Shane he wouldn't be showing his face here. He's planning something, I said, worriedly. You should be more worried about what I have to tell you. Sam, oh no. What did you find out? I found out why Ryder was so bitter about Telly rejecting him. It didn't make sense why he was so obsessed with her. I get you said he looked like his mate, but I still couldn't understand. The reason why Ryder was after her was because she's an Alpha's daughter. What does that have to do with anything? Think about it. Not many alphas have more than one child. They need a male to carry on the title, and to avoid feud between siblings they don't have another child. If you remember our history, alphas would choose an alpha mate for their daughters. The stronger the blood, the stronger the wolf. 𝐊𝐢𝐳𝐷𝐞𝐬𝐭, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I can't be so sure about this, but I think I know why Ryder was so interested in you. His father wanted him to find another mate. He thought you would have been someone he could easily control. But my parents aren't alphas. I know. Which is why his father suggested he turn to Ellie. They were working on an agreement. But before anything was final, Ellie met Eric. That's why he wanted to kill her. When Justin said Ryder was trying to get close to her, he was trying to get her to choose him. 𝐊𝐢𝐳𝐷𝐞𝐬𝐭, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I remember at times when Ryder would go out to visit other packs for business. He was going to Silverlight. Right. Yeah. That's why Imperial had so many problems with Silverlight. Does 𝐿𝐢𝐻𝐼 know about this? Of course not. Ryder wouldn't be alive if he knew. Back then Shane was only months away from taking the title. He would have tried to stop it if he had found out about it. I think that's why they were trying to rush things and do it before Shane took the title. I couldn't believe Shane's parents would do something like that. It went against everything werewolves believed in. There was a reason those kinds of things were banned by the elders. The day before Ryder had us prepare for an attack, he looked pissed. He looked like he was ready to kill someone. I guess we know now who that someone was. Sam said. I nodded in agreement. Eric had to see the truth in all of this. Ryder had me kill her because he didn't want to fight with Eric. If he killed Ellie, then nothing would guarantee him that he'd still be alive till this day. He would have lost his title as Alpha, and most likely Eric would have planned an attack on Imperial. With the amount of wolves we lost, they would have easily taken us down. Ryder still wanted me dead because he knows that at any moment I could convince Eric of the truth. Everything was falling in my favor. We have to convince Eric. This is the motive why Ryder would have wanted Ellie dead. It seems that pain of losing his mate is clouding his judgment. Sad. Breaking me out of my thoughts. No, I said. If we tell him, then he'll want to kill Ryder right in the spot. Is that a bad thing? Eric might get hurt and it would be our fault. I don't want that. Besides, I have plans for Ryder. It was true. I wanted to leave Ryder untouched for now. I had other plans for him. I would get back at him for all the pain he has caused me and everyone else. Whatever it is, I know I'm not going to like it. Sam had a look of dread on his face. Tell me you're not going to do something stupid. I can't tell you. 𝐊𝐢𝐳𝐷𝐞𝐬𝐭, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. If I do, you might try to stop me. That's what I was afraid of. Sighed.